Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's Active Aussie here, Tuesday afternoon. It's just after sunset. It's been an awful day here in Brisbane. Very windy and a lot of trees have blown down and branches are getting torn off trees and power lines coming down. I was over at my mother's place today for a while and I was going to do a bit of gardening and mow the lawn, but it's just very uncomfortable outside, very miserable, so I'll do that another time. But my sister's been sick again, so I had to go shopping for her, and I had to go to the pharmacy, to the chemist yesterday and get her some medicine, some medication, so I've been a bit busy with that. I'm keeping out of the forest because of the wind, because there's a lot of debris blowing around, and I was in the forest last Saturday, I think it was, and there were a lot of trees blown down from the previous weekend, but today the wind's just been really, really bad, and worse on the coastline, apparently. This is just a quick video. Obviously, you've all seen the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, so I won't talk too much about that, apart to say that some very dramatic images have emerged from that incident, and apart from what happened to Trump, it's very sad that a 50-year-old former firefighter died. I feel that his death has not really received the sort of publicity that it should have, but I guess that's par for the course in this sort of very gynocentric Western societies like the USA and Canada, Australia, etc. I plan to keep on making videos, but just got a few things to do at the moment, and I'm also planning to book some airline tickets and some accommodation either later this week or early next week, now that I finally have a few funds available, or I know that they'll be available. So I'm going to be doing that. Just in regard to Trump again, a couple of weeks ago, I think a subscriber of mine asked me, why do I think people hate him so much? And I think he said, do you think he's going to be successful later in the year with the election? And my answer to that is yes. And I predicted Trump would win back in 2016, and I got ridiculed by a lot of people I knew at the time. Like, I was with a lot of expats at that time, and even some of the Republican American guys I knew just said to me, oh, I hope he wins, but he's got no hope. And I just said to them, just wait and see, he's going to win. So I wish back then I'd placed a few bets, because I would have won quite a lot of money back then. But I hope that Trump will get in, because I feel that he's a guy who basically has some balls, as we like to say here in Australia, and he knows how to say no to certain people who may not have the country's best interests at heart. And something I find really irritating, even though I'm an Australian, is that when Mr. Zelensky goes to Washington, he's got his hand out and he always wants another 50 or 60 billion dollars. And I feel this must really infuriate a lot of citizens, taxpayers in the USA, when so much money needs to be spent on infrastructure and other sorts of issues in the US, and a lot of money's being wasted in my opinion, wasted in Ukraine, in Israel. And I'm not pro or anti-Ukraine or pro or anti-Israel. Certainly I don't like Putin. I think he's a terrible man, but I don't think that Western taxpayers' funds should be wasted on wars in places like Ukraine or Israel. That's just my 50 cents worth anyway. And I just feel the more that Trump gets criticised and the more that people hate him, the more popular he is going to become. And I've heard some ridiculous statements being made, Trump being compared to Hitler, and I've heard some commentators in Australia, I think, have said that oh, he's worse than Nixon and Kissinger, although Kissinger was not a president. He was Secretary of State. But Trump is nothing like Nixon. He's certainly nothing like Hitler. I think he is even a lot better than Bush. And I know quite a few Republican guys, American guys, who I'm still in contact with occasionally, and they didn't like Bush, George Bush, but they like Trump. So even some of these sort of hardcore Republican guys, they can be like sort of, you could say, they swing within the Republican Party, and they can be quite fussy and quite picky in regard to who they think should be the leader. So I really feel Trump has basically got it in the bag, so to speak. I think Biden's got no chance, and it's certainly too late now for anyone to replace him, like Kamala Harris, for example. And there was talk about Michelle Obama coming in. That's just a lot of crap talk. It's not going to happen, and she would have no chance, and there's not enough time for someone like her to get traction anyway. So I just wanted to throw a few ideas out there. I will be making more videos. I'm just here in the industrial estate at Salisbury, and it's starting to get dark now, but the wind has eased off, thankfully. I'm going to upload another video a bit later in regard to the leftover Chinese women, the so-called Xiongnu, and I've had quite a bit of experience with them, and I've met quite a few of them. But they are now having the same sort of problems that older Western women are having, like hitting the wall, so to speak. And these older Chinese women in their early 30s, late 30s, 40, early 40s, they're finding out that most men prefer the younger women, and they don't care about a woman's educational status, her degrees, whether she owns 2 houses, whatever. Men just basically don't care about that. So these older women are starting to find out they're quite delusional, and they still have extremely unrealistic standards that they expect men to meet. So I'll upload that video a bit later as well. I'll talk to you again soon, hopefully. That's all for now. Cheers.